I don't even mind if it's a smaller sausage, as long as it's firm. Hello! We are out walking today, past a noisy road at the moment, but we'll be moving away from the traffic shortly. We're in the woods. The area we're walking today is lots of woodland. And I say we, because we have the menace. No overnighting or anything today, just a little stroll through some woods and get Finn running around, and I wanted to see what sort of wild edibles we might be able to find, to be honest. It's a bit early for mushrooms, but we might be able to find some chanterelles or some early boletes maybe. I just thought we'd see what we can see. Had some nice summer weather, so it might be that things are popping out the ground a bit early. It is a glorious day today. It's going to be about 22 or 23 degrees centigrade. And in football pitches, that is, it's about 70, low 70s Fahrenheit, but it is beautiful. To stop my head burning, I've got a hat on, but it's a new hat. And it's also not one of those trucker caps, because whilst I like the trucker caps, my big bald head gets burnt through them. But this is a Helicontex, I think it's called a shooter's cap, which I'm also getting because my ear protection don't sit very well on my on the other hats I've got. Whereas these have got the cutouts, as you can see on the side of my ears, so I can get my ear defenders on, or ear protection. So I thought I'd take it out on its inaugural run just outdoors to stave off the sunburn and make it look less new and shiny, because I don't like it looking new and shiny. Donkey! Some fallen wood here, which might be a good place for some of that there fungus. What are you going to do now? Silly boy. Well, no fungus there. It's okay, we'll find some. It's a bit early in the season for anything too exciting, apart from chanterelles, which would be lovely. But we might get some. I might get some chicken of the woods actually. Potentially, chicken of the woods, dryad saddle. It's that sort of time for it. We're going to be going through lots of trees, eating lots of grass, because he never gets fed at home, you see. Poor starved puppy. Come on, bud. I also had a comment about Finn apparently wearing a muzzle. Just to be clear, he's not wearing a muzzle. Sorry, wasp. He's not wearing a muzzle. He can open his mouth just fine. It's called a halty. It's like a little harness around the face, which is quite useful for dogs that use their nose to travel around, because it stops them pulling quite so much. It's just a useful way to maintain control when we're around other dogs and that sort of thing, without them getting too overexcited. So fear not, no muzzles here. He's still busily eating grass, unimpeded. Oh, there we go, here's some hoof fungus. I don't stand in the only light. It's old hoof fungus, but it is fungus nonetheless. Horses! I think that's birch polypore up there. Can't quite see from here. Oh, wow, great find. Come on. There is an absolutely glorious breeze today. It's perfect. What are you doing? It's like completely blue sky, you can see out there. Completely blue sky. The sun is warm, obviously, because it's a big ball of burning gas. But the breeze is perfect. It's not too breezy, but it just takes the edge off, and it is beautiful. What a lovely day to be out. So I found something interesting on this oak. So you can see it's an oak from those leaves. If you don't know what an oak leaf looks like, it's that. But here, we have a weird growth. It looks a bit like an apple, and it's called an oak apple gall wasp. So there's a little wasp in there that's feeding on the oak, and it's created this little ball around it. So that will at some point become a wasp. And as much as I dislike wasps, we'll leave it, because that's how nature do. We had a period of quite heavy rainfall through spring. Spring was very, very wet. And now we've suddenly got warm. And everything that grows out the ground is just thriving. Don't know what it is, but just being surrounded by green and then the blue sky just lifts your spirits immediately. I think there must be something in your DNA that tells you want to be here. And this little branch, he's trying his best. All his older siblings are a bit bigger, but he's trying. Bit of woodland I'm in at the moment is really heavy on the birch and the pine. There's also a fair bit of oak around, and the odd beech. Now later in the season, when it comes to boletes and that sort of thing, the late summer autumn edibles, beech and birch are pretty good for that. Pine less so, but you can find it around. So this will be a good bit of woodland to come back to a little bit later in the year as well. And this is a woodland I do come to semi-regularly. It's in Lincolnshire. Lots of brambles and ground elder. Again, later in the year, come back for some blackberries, that would be nice. How much fern there is. Ticks do like to hang out on the ends of fern. So we'll be very careful to check Finn and myself when we get home, because we don't want Lyme's disease, that is, not the delicious citrus fruit. Nice splash of colour. I think that's red campion. I've just come across some more hoof fungus, which I've broken a piece off of. So that's hoof fungus. The split down the middle I've just done, just with my knife, just to show you what it looks like inside. So it's really tough. When you're cutting it, you need to be careful, because it is really, really tough, especially if you're using a fold-in knife like I am. Slip joint. It is tough as boots. But if you split it in half, this inside, because it's a tubular pore structure, similar to like a bolete, but it's very woody. So you can see you should be able to see the vertical lines down there, which is the tubular spores, and it makes it look porous underneath, so it looks like lots of little holes. Anyway, the inside you can store an ember on this, or catch an ember on this, ideally with a ferrocerium rod, but with a flint and steel technically, and it'll hold a little spark for a bit and become an ember which you can then use to start a fire. Ideally you want to find some that's not soaking wet, if it's been super wet recently. Mosquitoes. But yeah, that'll catch a spark and hold it long enough for you to be able to blow that into a tinder bundle, and start a fire. It's almost always found on birch, the hoof fungus. You can see why it's called that. We've stopped for lunch. Found a slightly quieter spot, just in the middle of some quite tall trees. Finn is attached to a tree with a long lead, and he's doing his thing. He'll probably be wrapped up in about 3 seconds. You're going to never guess what I've got for lunch today. It's a ration meal. I'm going to mix it up though. I've not got the twig stove with me today, because didn't fancy it. It's also a little bit dry, so I'll be a bit more careful now. Have the Jetboil instead, which is a little bit safer. I know I look like I'm probably a paid sponsor for Brown's Bushcraft, but I promise I'm not. I just really like his little bags. So this is my usual food bag. I always have this for my food and my brew kit. And I use this for a Jetboil. It can carry some other bits in it as well, which is why it's big. It's just a drawstring one. I got my Jetboil, which means that my water will be hot pretty much within about 30 seconds. They are ridiculously quick at boiling water. Hey Finn. Hey bud. Good boy, well done. That on so you don't have my big shiny head glaring at the camera. I put some insect repellent on because I'm surrounded by a swarm of flies and mosquitoes. There you go. It's got a little stand that you just attach the gas canister to. Remember to flip this thing out first. This is the regulator for the gas. And it just spins on there, screws on, and then this thing, as you can hear, just regulates the gas. Then we attach, we take off this first, then we attach. So yeah, that's the system. Then you've got a lid on top so it boils faster. You regulate the gas with there. You've got a little ignition button there, just an electronic ignition. That starts it, and this thing boils really, really quickly. Should do. So today's ration, what have we gone for? Sausage casserole. If you can read that, I'll leave it there for a sec. So we have vegetables, potato, carrot, onion, peas, pork sausage. 51% of each sausage is pork. That's actually not too shabby for a thing in a bag. Then it's got all the usual suspects of the herbs and spices and all that jazz. I'm not going to read out all of them. 114 calories per 100 grams, and this is 300 grams. So that is 342 calories. 342 calories in that, so that's not a massive meal, but it's enough to give you some energy. So as usual, I'm going to put this in before I turn the heat on, and then it'll heat up with the water. Good news with the Jetboil is that it has it's a bit taller than the cup, so the ration fits in it nicely, and that means I can put the lid on and it'll heat up faster. Finn's processing wood. and generally investigating, making sure there's nothing that hasn't been eaten yet, such as mud, leaves, sticks. He's quite a fan of the sheep poo as well, but I don't think we need to worry about that in here. I was really struggling to breathe through my nose on the overnight camping trip. I don't know if it was pollen or if I was just coming down with a cold. I was feeling a bit off, so it could be that. So I was editing the video and just hearing my mouth breathing. Very nice. Today my sinuses are probably just going to get stuffed full of mosquitoes. Hello. Hello. Delicious mosquitoes. I didn't bring any cake with me. I did bring some cake with me on the camp and I forgot to eat it. Oh no, I didn't forget to eat it, I was just full from steak. It was a cinnamon cake, so I'll have that another day. I also forgot to give a rating for the meatballs and pasta, because it was quite good. It wasn't like in my top 5, I don't think, or top 4, however many I've had. On a score out of 10, on a rating out of 10, hey buddy, for the meatballs and pasta, I would give it a 6, which is better than average. So obviously a 5 out of 10 is middle, it's fine. 1 to 4 is not so good, but anything from 6 through to 10 is good, isn't it? And it was good. It's not something I'd rush out to have again, but if I found out that that was my only meal for the day, I wouldn't be upset. It was tasty enough. The meatballs were surprisingly good. So we'll see what today's sausage casserole scores. The last, I had a what was it? I had spicy sausage and wedges, I think was one of the other meals. And that wasn't that great. That was when I went to that was when I was in the Peak District last. Yeah, and I think that was probably a 4 or a 5. I can't remember. Hopefully I'm not messing up the rating system too much. But yeah, that wasn't great. So if the sausages are like that, I don't know, it might not bode well. I don't think I'm going to have a cup of tea today. It's quite warm. So I think I'm going to stick with the meal. A nice cooling sausage casserole. Finn's eating a pine. Just chewing on a tree. You know how it is. That guy sat on a stump. Got a big piece of bark stuck into my arse, which I'm sure that you're all really glad to know about. Coming up with plans for the rest of the year. So I want to get out during the summer, of course, because the weather's great and it's nice being out in the sun. And then autumn and winter I want to get out. The reason I got that Rock Fortress tent is because it's a hot tent. So I can put a stove in it in winter. And then we can have some winter adventures as well, which I'm really excited about as well. I don't know whether people prefer my hiking trips or my just sitting in the woods trips, or my overnight camping trips, or what. You'll have to let me know. The primary reason I do it is because I enjoy it. And that's not going to change. I'm not going to do things if I'm not enjoying it. That's the reason I come outdoors, is because I enjoy being out here and it's good for my head and the soul. But if there's stuff I enjoy that you also enjoy, that is a great bonus. Last couple of videos have done quite well. A couple of thousand views on each, which I'm very grateful that people want to, you know, want to watch, want to listen to me chat nonsense and sit in the woods. And I think it's probably just because Finn's in the videos, isn't it? If we're honest, people see a dog and go, I'll watch that. That's what I'd do. Where's my spoon? There's my spoon. Yeah, there's a good boy, well done. That'll do, pig. Shall we see how mein Ration is doing? Oh, mein Ration. Gott in Himmel. Sorry for anyone German, that was a terrible accent. It's warm. She's a warm one, bud. And gas is off. My arse is numb. I think that's what Linkin Park sang about. Linkin Park and Jay-Z. Encore numb. It was about my arse being numb. Again. That's the encore bit. A nice piping hot sausage casserole on a sunny day. Why do I do this to myself? Hey bud. No, it's not for you. I think my GoPro overheated. So you now find me 5 minutes later. Finn's just had a big old drink. I've let my food cool down. There's quite a good amount of sausage in there, that's what she said. They're more than a mouthful, that's also what she said. And also, as a result, I've chopped one up and I will show you just the tip. That is also what he said. So you've got a mushroom, it's got sort of what looks like fake griddle marks on it. I don't know if they're fake or not. Tastes like a tinned sausage. Not the best, not the worst. It's come out of a bag. Yeah, it's definitely not the worst, but it has got the sort of pasty, very processed texture to it. Okay, what else have we got? We have chunks of potato. Yeah, that's quite nice. It's not too soft and mushy even, which is good. Carrot. That is quite soft and mushy. Not really sure I can even taste the carrot when you eat a chunk of it. It's all in a slightly tomatoey, well, I say slightly tomatoey, it is a tomatoey sort of gravy. It's not quite as tomatoey as just a baked beans tomato sauce, but it is definitely a tomatoey sauce. It's amazing that they get the potato to still have some bite to it. More so than the sausage. I don't even mind if it's a smaller sausage, as long as it's firm. We'll leave that. But you know what I mean, the sort of mushy, soft processed texture isn't great. Overall though, I'd say this is very inoffensive, certainly edible. The sausage is probably the only bit that lets it down, but you know, there's going to be protein in there, so that's good. The sauce and the vegetables are nice. What would I give this out of 10? That's a tricky one. 5.5 out of 10. Because it is certainly edible. If it wasn't for the sausages, it would be a 6 out of 10. Because the sauce is nice. You know, not amazing, but nice. But the sausage just lets it down. It's the story of my life. Anywho, Finn and I are going to just pack the last few bits of the bag up, then we're going to head off. Hey bird, come on! So dramatic. Hey Finn! Come here! That's my whole hand, bud. How about you take it gently? Good boy. Ethan! Come here! Good boy! Oh, come, bud. Where are you going, bud? Where are you going? Over there, are we? Okay. Come on! Good boy. Some nice colour. Beautiful. Rhododendron. Well, we've not found any wild edibles. That's a lie, actually. We've not found any edible mushrooms. We found plenty of ground elder, brambles, dandelions. I can't remember what else now, but we found them. We found some fungus, so that's cool. It is early in the season for the sort of fungus that I'd be looking for in woodland, to be fair. But it's just been a lovely time to come out and enjoy all the green and the warmth, the lovely breeze. Finn's had a good run round. I've had a good walk, not super long, but a good few miles. Just a nice way to spend a Sunday. Doesn't always have to be a big hike or a big bushcraft trip. Sometimes it's nice just to come out and enjoy being out for a few hours. I'll be going out and doing some longer trips again, but just a bit of a shorter one for this week. I hope you've enjoyed. I really appreciate everyone who's watching the videos. And if I could ask you to press like if you do like, it helps me out because it tells YouTube that people like it and then more people will see it. If you don't like it, that's fine. No offence taken, we all like our own stuff, or different stuff. But if you do like it, I know it's easy to forget sometimes. Click like. If you want to see more, then click subscribe as well. And if you don't, well, thanks for watching anyway. I will see you next week.